They got the job done. Yeah, they got the job done. You can't argue at that. And they've had a good week in that respect. Two good results. But still, when you break it down, half time against Brighton, they were booed off. It took a wonder goal from Ronaldo and a sending off to get them over the line in that one. And then at 2-2, you could argue the Leeds goalkeeper, I don't know what he's doing at the shot at the near post. That should never go in. So it could have gone either way. And for once, I think I have to agree with Gary Neville's assessment. He still feels that Ranić's, not done enough in the time that they'll already be looking for someone else, and they're still nowhere near League 3, and we'll see that when they play them. They're too easy to play against. Leeds scored 2, could have scored 3 or 4. The thing I can say about United is that this is how far they've come, and it's a shame because they are a brilliant club, but they were celebrating that win at Leeds to cement that top the 4th position for the time being, like they'd won the title. Yeah. And it was watching it going, okay, I passion, emotion, I get it. But this is Man United. Okay, they're now in 4th. Well done, boys. You've won at Leeds. You've conceded the second most goals in the Premier League.
You are looking for a little reaction to that,
but they should be. We're beating Leeds and Brighton. They've spent the most money in the Premier League, and they're celebrating for 4th position and talking about, a couple of months ago we wouldn't have won this game. The manager come on. They've got to have better. The expectations have got to be higher.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a suggestion, maybe not directly from you, but not far off it, that there was a downing of tools quite recently.
No. I think it's not a downing of tools. It's players who don't do the basics because there's no repercussions, which is generally subconscious behaviour. They don't go out going, I'm going to down tools. It's because you just get into a comfort zone of not having the repercussions of your bad performances drilled into you day after day after day. The high standards that are expected of the best players at the best clubs, when you look at City and Liverpool, relentless, week in, week out. They don't have that. So
would you not have reacted like that if you were a United player?
Probably,
at the end of that game yesterday?
Yeah, probably, to be fair, yeah. Because you get caught in the moment, don't you? You get caught in the moment, you score a goal, it's Leeds, great atmosphere, you want to put one over on them and their supporters. So I'm not, I've probably gone a bit overboard on the celebration, but to be honest, I'm just saying that the feeling is that this thing that United have won 2 in a week and now are in 4th and everything's all right again.
No,
I don't concur.
There's a bit to go yet.
Yeah. The Leeds United, irrespective of the absences, with that kind of 20-minute burst, can do what they did to United to a lot of sides. I don't think United were celebrating like they were winning the league. I think there's a lot of headlines that get written about that football club because it's under more scrutiny than any other football club worldwide, probably. So the players were just illustrating some great joy about getting back in a game that was highly charged, full of emotion. Leeds were at it and on it for 20 minutes. In the first half, Leeds weren't there. United were far the better side. And in the second half, Leeds came out and they had a 20-minute spell at the end of the first half and at the beginning of the second half where they really put it up on United, and they'll do that to a lot of sides. United had the fortitude to dig themselves out, and he may well be right, that because what he's saying 3 months ago is an actual fact. They stunk the place out towards the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure so badly in the end that Watford were handing them their heads. So it's not unreasonable to say, when we've got ourselves 2-0 up in front, he just talked about a week ago. Think of that, the language he said. We keep getting ahead in front of games, and then we keep giving the leads back to the opposition. And I need to get some psychological profiling of our players and a psychologist in to understand what happens when we concede goals. So of course he's going to come out and turn around and say, actually, we reacted to adversity. Yeah. And the thing that I identified a week ago, which is our inability to hold a lead, and then when we give a lead away, we react to it badly, is a problem for us. Well, it wasn't a problem in this game. And can you imagine the laughing stock he'd have been if those 2 substitutions hadn't worked out the way they did?
That's right.
Because people were already remarking when he's given Pogba the hook, and replaced him with Fred.
I actually thought the Fred substitution, because what he brought Fred on to give him a bit more defensive stability.
Because Leeds were running right.
Yeah, and actually it turned out Fred got the goal, which he didn't bring him on for.
No, there's an irony about it.
But I actually thought it was the right decision.
But notwithstanding that, I thought it's not a brave
United. Saying if it had gone against him.
But it's not a brave United decision. It's almost accepting the fact that Leeds are beginning to overrun you and you need to do something about it. It's a managerial decision that has bravery attached to it in one respect because he can get pillared for it. Yeah. Because it's not the Man United way. Right. But on the other side of things, it worked out well for them. I think there's a lot to be done. I watch people like Harry Maguire. I think they dial it in. I think the emotivity they exhibit is dialed in. But I look at a lot of that
performance. How do you mean dialed in?
I think he's formulaic. I think he comes in front of the cameras and says what he thinks that he should be saying rather than what he really feels. I think his celebrations are pretty much the same. I look at it and say that United are very much a work in progress. It's not because I want Ralph Rangnick to work for Man United because I was so against the mediocrity of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 3-year waste of people's time. It's because I think that there's a job there that this guy's capable of doing, and you've got to call it for what it is. You know, Brighton are a decent side. OK, they got smashed on the weekend by Burnley, but they're a decent side. They've been outplaying a lot of the sides, a lot of the top sides recently. So however they got their win, United got their win. At this moment in time, it's about wins. It's about
what
wins.
has he done in his career, the manager, or what has he done since he's been at United to think that he can take them on to be competitive with the three teams we know he's got to try and catch?
Well, look,
because that United side has moments of brilliance, Simons, where you go 20 minutes here, half an hour, you go, wow. But generally have been poor. And the United fans will tell you that. Generally, their performances over 90 minutes against average opposition has been poor.
But you're building a momentum. You know, you can make arguments for the fact I'm not a Jadon Sancho fan. But you're now, and I've been suggesting for some time that this is a £75 million pup you've bought here, but they're beginning to get a tune out of him. Now that may well be. I mean, Leeds in the last 20 minutes of that game were perfect to play against because they were wide open. So you got
Sancho's been better. You're right. He has been better.
Absolutely. So you look at it and say that these are developments, these are building blocks. I mean, if he beats Atletico Madrid. Right,
oh, yeah.
What are you going to start saying then?
That's
because
true.
Inch by inch, yard by yard,
true.
With the United, more than any other club, you analyse every microfibre of everything they do.
But we're all sitting in there. We're all sitting.
Top four.
But we're all sitting in
and
our,
that's where you thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
But we're all sitting in our chairs giving opinions on what we see, and we're all capable of having our minds changed because that's football, and that's why we love it so much. I'm not suggesting for one second that he wouldn't. That there might be an improvement in but what I'm talking about, what I've seen. There's no proof in the pudding that he's done it at a big club before. First and foremost, doesn't mean you can't succeed. But in the games I've seen, and I do a lot of them, they are nowhere near. And beaten, but no disrespect. But if you watch the Brighton game, first half, Brighton the better team. Why did United get booed off at half time?
If you'd been a United player yesterday, you'd have been celebrating.
I took that back a bit. I did take that back a bit. I did say, I do get it. Thinking back to playing, I'd probably celebrate in games where they're pretty meaningless, to be honest, because you get involved. I take that back. But I'm talking about how far United have come, where just getting that fourth place now and making that the be-all and the end.
But that's a fact, Danny.
I know it's a moment in time, isn't it?
I know it is, but we're all guilty of looking back and saying what United once were. We've got to look at the here and now. They've had 3 years of treading water. They had 2 years, or certainly the last 7 months, where Mourinho turned it on its head and turned it into a dreadful place for everyone to be, for whatever reason that was.
2 trophies later.
So no, but I'm not talking that time. I'm talking about the time when the wheels came off. I'm not talking about him winning the League Cup and the UEFA Cup. I'm talking about the period of time where he really became... The whole environment became toxic over there. So you're almost 4 years into a club that's been eroded by low standards. It's universally understood now that the standards at the training ground with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were far too lax, far too easy-ozy, and it was far too much about what the players could get away with rather than what they should actually be doing for Man United. I just think that right now, United, if they finish fourth and overcome teams like Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, then there's a more of a compelling case to suggest this guy might have the chops to do the job.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.